ain't shit. I'll be the first to tell you that.
The crew won't.
Welcome to Let It Be Known. I'm your co-host, Niele. Stacy Brown is out today. He's actually in Washington, D.C. with Dr. Ben Chavis at a book signing. But today we bring you a special report from Knoxville, Tennessee. We have 2 Tennessee families, 2 deaths within a week's time by one law enforcement agency. Now, in Black Lives Matter grassroots movement, it's important to say their names. So today, with families mourning and seeking answers, we say the names of Daevon Montez, Saint-Germain, and David Batts, both dead at the hands of the Knoxville, Tennessee Sheriff's Department. Now, this is a 2-day report, and today we speak to Alencian Batts, the sister of David Batts. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We are just grateful that you're here to help tell this story and to amplify what's going on in Knoxville, Tennessee. We know that David and Daevon's death happened within a week's time, and it happened back in January, reminiscent of like Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor. These were stories that didn't garner national attention until it was movements in places like the Black press that kept talking about these stories and amplifying these stories. And we find ourselves in this situation once again, and the importance of Black Lives Matter grassroots movement is so important. And so let's talk about what's happening in Knoxville, Tennessee. So your brother, David, was 46 years old, and he was admitted to a local hospital after being in custody of a Knoxville jail on January 7th. Tell us what happened and why you feel the sheriff's department is not being held accountable.
All right, so let's back it up a little bit. He was at work. He works for our area transit, which he is a city employee, full insurance. That matters as I go along the story.
Okay.
So my mother also is an employee there. They called my mother because my brother was on a bus that he needed medical attention. It was really cold that morning. So my mother got down there and she seen her son in the back of an ambulance. And he asked her, "Hey, mom, what's wrong?" And she just cried. She was then told that he was going to be taken to UT Hospital for observation to make sure he didn't have like where you get real cold hypothermia, because he was a little delirious out of his mind a little bit. And when he got there, so she followed the ambulance. When they got to the ER, she was told that she couldn't go back. And evidently things escalated. And he was accused of touching a woman, a nurse in there. Even though he was there for treating for for mental issues and hypothermia, he allegedly touched a nurse. And then next thing you know, he's being arrested.
Oh, wow.
No medical attention was sought. They didn't give him any kind of medical attention. My mother went to look. Well, they told me he's being arrested. Boom. They take him to the sheriff's department. He comes back like to the hospital like this, beat up. The hospital, of course, put all the tubes and stuff on him. But between the hours of 10 and about 4 to 6 a.m., my mother she woke up and was like, "I have to find my son." Called the sheriff's department, was hung up on several times until finally she did reach a sergeant. I can't remember the name. The sergeant did tell her, "Ma'am, your son is in ICU at UT Hospital." We go out there, we find him like this. So allegedly what happened, that he sexually assaulted a nurse at that hospital. And my question is, why is he accused of that? And then y'all brought him back to the same hospital that the crime allegedly occurred. I don't understand that. So it's a big cover up between UT Hospital and the sheriff's department. We were told by our DA, the DA actually, we went to a meeting to try to get answers on she told my brother died of meningitis.
Wow. So let me jump in here for a minute. So your first attorney, you're now represented by civil rights attorney Ben Crump. But Lance Baker said on January 9th that your brother was tased and struck multiple times by Knoxville County officers at the jail. Was that found in any of the paperwork, police reports connected?
They did say that he was, Sharm did state that he was struck once in the face and tased. But my brother also had shoe prints in his chest, a shoe print as well, and several tase marks on his body. My mother took those pictures that you just showed and video. He had where he was handcuffed during this assault. His arms were even swelled and had handcuff bruises on his wrist. They covered that up at the hospital because we didn't see that when we first went in there. As time went on and we started looking around like something isn't right here. Right. And that's when we discovered that they weren't totally in the clear.
So I know that there's been several community meetings. Shout out to Black with No Chaser and journalist Angela Dennis for helping amplify this story because they've been promoted. What has the sheriff's department's response been? Because I know the community meetings, the questions arise. What has been their response?
Just saying that they are not held accountable. They did not use excessive force, that they are just justifying their actions. No one will be prosecuted because there was no wrongdoing. So that's just their story and they're sticking to it. Spangler, I think, is the sheriff now. He stated in that meeting that basically there's nothing they did wrong.
Now you brought up Sharm Allen is the district attorney. And so what has been her participation in this? District attorneys are supposed to be there to hold justice. And so it seems as if she's citing or she is protecting.
Oh, yes.
The sheriff's department. What has been your interaction with her? I know that she's met with the family before she made the announcement that no charges would be filed against any of the jail staffers. So what has been the interaction between your family and her office?
That's the only interaction we've ever had when we went for the meeting with her, and she laid it all out. Their narrative of it, and then she hit us with, and he died of meningitis according to their autopsy report, which she had rushed along just to see and she just said no charges would have been filed. She told my mom that he would have died anyway, And that I left the room after that. I don't even know what was said after that, because that was very, very hard. And she just has no kind of remorse, no kind of compassion for our Black community, in my opinion, because I've seen her in other cases that dealt with people of color, and she's the same kind of way. That's the day, that right there looks like the exact same day she met with us, because I remember that blazer and the way she looked. She just, yeah.
And so now that she's saying that no charges will be filed, what's the next steps for justice? What does that look like for your family?
This looks like what we're doing right here, because my brother was married, and I'm not, and so I'm standing here as his sister. I'm standing here for justice for him, even if I have to stand alone. It looks like meeting with you guys. It's like it's meeting with our local activists. It's getting it out there, because the world needs to know about this. This needs to go outside of Knoxville, Tennessee. Everybody needs to know about this, not only for my brother, because we don't even know how many other cases are out there that happened. It's getting that awareness out there is what is wrong. That's like that it's not even aired on the news anymore. But when they do air us on the news, it's like we're perpetrators.
Right.
Perpetrators here. My brother's a victim here, and why is he not being treated like one? That's no. I'm not okay with that. So anything I have to do is get on these platforms like this to get that awareness out there, to say, hey guys, this is a people problem.
Right. Yeah.
Almost make you want to be like Matthew McConaughey on that movie. Shut your eyes. Now imagine if he was white. I wouldn't be standing here.
Right. Is your family seeking a second autopsy?
My father actually asked for the autopsy while we were at the hospital, a private one to be sent out. But we're basically locked out on any information.
So they're not allowing you to have a private autopsy? They're not allowing you to have a private autopsy?
I know my father ordered one, but I don't know where the power is at, where it is. I don't know if he's gotten it. A lot of doors are being shut in our face because he's married. He was married. And a lot of doors being shut in our face because they're using that. Well, we'll just deal with the wife. Or we can't tell you anything because he's married. And I'm like, so a lot of doors are being shut in our face for that.
And so is the wife cooperating, or is she just okay with what?
I have no idea. I literally have no idea. That's why I'm standing here for my brother and for my family. I have no idea. I would hope so. I would hope to think so.
Right. And so the next steps are just to continue to say David Batts' name, amplify his story, and hopefully some type of accountability be shared.
Yeah, because I'm actually going to make. It was crazy because January the 6th, I was like, you know what? I'm a really helpful person. I really can give good advice. I made me a YouTube channel. Now, then this happened. My whole channel shut down. So now I'm gonna have to redirect my channel and use that platform to get my brother's story out there to tell who my brother really is. He's not that person that they want to paint, the narrative they painted about them. No, he's a gentleman.
Right. He was a 9-to-5 worker. He had benefits. He went to work. He wasn't feeling good. A husband, went to the hospital. Was accused of touching someone, ended up in the sheriff's department jail, came out untreated, came out of the prison on a hospital bed, beat up, bruised, and died the next day. And there's no accountability.
Died the same day.
Anybody.
Died the same day. He was arrested on the 7th, but when they took him to the sheriff's department, it was like after midnight. So they had changed. So yeah, they murdered him. And then dumped him back at the hospital where the crime allegedly occurred. And a meningitis, well, where is that? Like, okay, then why didn't y'all treat him for it? Like, where did this come from? They actually, this little, you can't really see it on the picture, but this is a bloody little thing up on top of his head. My mama said it looks like a Martian. They did that in that room. They did not take him to the ER for that. They did not take him to the operation room. They drilled a hole in my brother's head right there in that room.
Jesus.
To release pressure, he was already dead.
And were there any Black folks affiliated with anything we're talking about, or is this just
all Caucasian? The nursing staff, the police department. There was even UT police up there.
Well, thank you for sharing your story. And as things develop, please continue to check in with us so that we can continue to help you seek justice for your brother, David Batts.
Thanks. Yeah, we are definitely having a march here in Knoxville, Tennessee, on April the 6th, just so we can continue our movement and seek justice. And we are definitely going to be marching down our Martin Luther King Street to a platform to where we'll be speaking to the media, because this can't just die in vain.
Well, we'll definitely circle back. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right. Special thank you to journalist Angela Dennis and Black with No Chaser for helping us amplify this story. And tomorrow we'll be joined by Christy and Ray Saint-Germain, who is Daevon's parents, the 17-year-old who was murdered by the Knoxville County SWAT team less than a few days before this incident right here. For the latest in news impacting and uplifting the Black experience, visit BlackPressUSA.com. And we'll be back tomorrow morning, Stacy and I, with Let It Be Known, bringing you the headlines that are impacting and uplifting the Black experience. I'm Niele. Peace out.